relocating someone with telekinesis and a 1 second potential stun that is slow to also go up. So now we have Vengeful Spirit as a core here, correct?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We actually have a lineup that has some real power to run aggro tri-lane and contest a Draw Ranger lineup or contest a Morphling tri-lane because that is the other core we have to talk about now for Newbee.
Definitely hard. It's like, you know, Rubik is weak in these lanes, but he can just take advantage so much of like positioning in the lanes. Like, you have to be very careful where you're standing, especially versus like Ogre, Drow, Rubik. Like, there's not so much damage at level 1, but level 2 is where it starts becoming much more difficult because Ignite, Bloodlust, Lift, Fateful, all these different factors coming in. But like the Morphling versus Naga matchup, that's gonna be really tough for Duo. He's gonna be able to farm decently, but like I think the Morphling's gonna be able to pressure him quite decently in the laning phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a QO Naga. I wasn't sure if they really were gonna do it, but I guess it makes much more sense just because like it's MVP. This is just what they like to put QO on that the more like farmer type hero.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Slark, but we haven't seen that too much lately.
All right, real quickly, I want to go over predictions.
Oh yeah, we didn't see those last time.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about though last time around.
We did. Message.
All right, total number of player deaths by 25 minutes. I'm feeling like this is going to be pretty action-packed game.
16 to 25?
Yeah.
20, I think 16 to 25 is safer.
Yeah, I think so too. MVP Phoenix, they're going to have to fight sometimes, but it's not necessarily that they always want to fight, right? They've got a very good we can fight 4 versus 5 underneath our tower sort of situation, right? The Undying, very early, very aggressive. Vengeful Spirit as a core comes online very quickly. It's just, Farev, I think, is really the hero that you look at from MVP Phoenix and say, you're the one who initiates for us, you're the one who is a big team fighter. Like, you have to have a strong laning phase and come online early.
Yeah, they have to have kind of like, they're already set up in a way where they want to switch lanes though. Bello is starting up with the TB scroll, so they want to match up where the Drow Ranger is with this aggro tri-lane, like we mentioned. You know, they want to put the pressure on, they want to put Farev in a good 1v1 matchup. We didn't do the team with most kills at the end. Oh well, whatever. We got one prediction now.
I chose Newbee for most kills at the end, just because they're the more aggressive lineup. They're trying to set the tempo right with this Draw Ranger. I think that I said no teleports because that is I hate that one. And then I thought, highest net worth. I think I said Draw Ranger. If Newbee managed to close this game out relatively early, obviously they can go late game, right? That is the big power of having a Morphling on your team, is that you can extend this game a lot later with the Draw Ranger strategy and still feel comfortable. And you also have, did we talk about the Morphling versus Natus Siren and how that feels for SC and how he's going to be able to get early farm?
It should be okay unless there's an Undying in your face. Because Morphling struggles a lot actually versus Undying laning.
Yes.
If you get hit by a couple decays and you're already at Morph, like he's sitting at 280 HP on Morphling. But you have high damage. So as long as you're safe, you shouldn't really die. There's no disable on the side to really take out a Morphling.
And they're putting a Draw Ranger, instead of having Sand King in a 1v1 against Farev, which would be tough in the beginning before Cosmic Finale really starts taking over. They're going to put Sand King up against the Vengeful Spirit Witch Doctor matchup and have Draw Ranger play the 1v1.
I think it's cool. They want to benefit from the pulls as much as possible with like the Rubik, the Sand King. Obviously, he's able to caustic down the creeps once he deals with pulls. And I think they want to make sure that UU9 gets solo experience. So they want to put him in that solo matchup. Be sure to boost up their Morphling as much as possible in the laning phase.
Let's see, what CS lines we're looking pretty good so far.
Morphling's struggling pretty hard because of this Undying though. Like Faith was there, but Faith came like maybe like 10 seconds after the Undying. So Undying got already 2 decays off on the Morphling, so he's feeling a bit pressure. Don't think he should actually be missing that many CS. I think he just feels, he feels bad. He just doesn't like this Morphling in his face, even though it doesn't really put the craziest amount of pressure on you. It's just like it's mental pressure more so.
It's kind of interesting. Like traditionally, we looked at Overmagi as just being like the strongest support. But he's also very generic, right? What he does is very generic. He just kind of like runs at you, bubbles around. He's just big and tanky, and he doesn't care about physical damage. But if you think about it, right, the two supports that match that Ogre, they have very unique mechanics. Leech Seed, which is a slow and a heal as well as a damage over time. That very clearly, that unique mechanic won them the tri-lane. And then here in this dual lane scenario, the way that Undying works and the way he's able to take away strength away from a Morphling who's already operating on low strength is very clearly winning them this dual lane scenario. So Well, Ogre, yes, the kind of like, yes, he's always hard to deal with, and because he's kind of generic and in your face, that he does make for a very good early pick. These other two strength heroes are actually proving to be much stronger in laning phase for these specific scenarios.
I mean, Pepe's owning. Like, Pepe's just doing such a good job of securing this lane. Like, SEC, he's just constantly sitting at like 4 strength.
I mean, I'm not sure how Febe has had this much mana. He's finally out. He's got 1 clarity to work with, but
1 suicide and then he comes. I mean, that's the beauty about Undying. You know, you have 400 base in, or 400 base mana. Imagine that.
Yeah.
400 base mana, so you're just able to throw out like 7 decays almost. Anyway, so puts out so much pressure on SEC.
Dies a little bit, dies neutrals, and he'll be right back.
Laning phase going quite well for MVP right now. QO leading the board, Benj leading the board, Axe doing Axe things, putting a little bit of pressure on UU9. But now, RF maybe going up a little bit too far, maybe making the rotation coming in with Ignite. They only have 2 points in the Frost Arrows. Will it be enough? I don't think it's
TP away, Fate is not quite yet level 3 or level 4, whenever he chooses to get that Fire Blast on. No interruption stun. Still though, that just means it's going to be an empty lane for the next 45 seconds or so, and United will be able to abuse the hard camp pull in situations like that. We haven't examined this aggro dual lane situation that MVP Phoenix is doing with the Vengeful Spirit and the Witch Doctor, where they're matching up against the dual lane of Newbee's Kaka as well as KP. I'm expecting action to break out any moment, just because eventually we're going to have this combination telekinesis into Burrow Strike that's going to be countered pretty easily by Newbee with the Paralyzing Cast as well as the Buddha Restoration. Buddha Restoration looking like it's going to be able to win out this man fight, as that heal over time is allowing Velo to stay in it and right-click away. They do manage to chase away Velo as well as Kaka, though. Will pop a bit of regen, or at least Velo will pop some regen. Maybe Kaka just decides it is time to end his life. He bites his boot, fights forwards.
Taunts on UU9.
Oh god, so close. A little bit more. Maybe just the damage over time, and it is enough. First blood will go to Fred, striking back hard after being forced away from the Ogre. Ogre leaves the lane, and somehow he's able to get just what he just TP'd in the lane, wrapped around, got some sort of initiation with Battle Hunger.
Yep, just got Battle Hunger, walked up, got Paul off with a couple creeps on, like 3 or 4 creeps. So he got like, I think he even got the 3 spins. So he got a little bit lucky on the spin factor, but still, very nice moving by him. I'm definitely feeling afraid though now for Newbee. Like this Morphling, I don't really know how you even help him. I don't know how you really secure this Morphling, because they're just. Pepe is literally just sitting there. He's just like, okay, I don't care if I'm splitting experience with my Naga. I'm just gonna refill his bottle over and over again. Suicide, rinse, repeat, nuke the Morphling. Suicide, fill the bottle, rinse, repeat. Like, every single time doing the same thing. It's putting so much pressure on him. He's not able to even walk up to the creep wave. QO completely free farm.
And now that he's level 3, he's got Soul Rip as well, which is a very valuable loot at level 1. You have those units to work off of. So the creeps clash together, you've got 10 units out in the field very easily. Boom, 180 damage, magic damage to a hero that's already low on strength. Rapid rotation coming in from Newbee here. 2-man smoke up from the 2 supports. They're going to lay down some nice aggressive vision that will be able to help out the Draw Ranger. This is 1v1, but more importantly, they can get a kill on Fred here. Throw him into the creep wave. Going to be able to get a lot of damage. Just kite him around. They are going to try and TP in with a Witch Doctor, but it's just going to be a bit too late. Fred does end up going down. They drops a bit low. The Paralyzing Cast comes out, but it is obviously not enough for the Witch Doctor to be able to commit to a kill. UU9 in a better scenario in this 1v1 against the Axe, also setting him up for success. They've not only got this ward now to be able to see TP rotations across, but they also have this ward to be able to see the rotations coming out from mid or any tier 2 rotations that try and wrap across.
This is really smart by Newbee. Like I said, like there's no way they really help the Morphling right now. So what's the best way to help the Morphling? Make pressure in the other lanes. So try to open his potential up, at least win 2 lanes in a way. Kasenki's doing pretty fine in this top matchup. He's completely tied up with the Vengeful Spirit, but I think he's got just a little bit more experience ahead in that matter.
And in some ways, we also said that you want to pressure and allow the Draw Ranger to be able to succeed, so maybe it relieves some pressure from Morphling. But we also talked about the fact how Farev needs to be able to come online relatively early with his Blink Dagger as he's being chased away, but as a Tombstone blown, a TP going to be wasted bottom lane. They are going to be able to get the initiation on Farev. Kind of kite him around. It looks like they're going to make this kill. Farev, unless he gets crazy lucky on spins, he won't be able to get a chop. He throws it down just to be able to get a little bit of extra damage, but Dubu's going to die as well. as the damage is just too much for them to handle. A bloodlusted Jiro Ranger this early on to the game is a huge amount of physical damage. SC once again going to be pressured. They're going to try and force him back with a waveform and get some damage onto this tier 1 tower, keeping the creep wave alive and on point.
Very smart rotations by Newbee though. Like they know this tanking is self-sustainable. There's no way they can up for Morphling. They just want to keep pressuring this axe, and they can have 2 kills out of it because of Yu's build, having the 3 in frost arrows and maxing up the aura as well. But he also tried to go for an epicenter kill on the bench, but Velo was smart. He just TP'd out right after the burrow strike epi.
Oh, okay.
Burrow,
KP, how
he's a lot of mana.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a bottle. He's gonna make the rotation to the mid lane. This could be where they put the pressure on the Natus.
Yeah, this is going to actually catch out MVP Phoenix while they're pretty aggressive forward here. Nice Sandstorm to be able to dodge any initiating stun, but he only gets a Burrow Strike on the 1, and his team not really able to follow up underneath the Tombstone. It's hard for them to be able to pursue forward. They finally kill the Tombstone. KP almost dying here, but QO can't quite get the kill. And SC, he charges forward, waveform onto 1, gets 1 support, right-clicks the other one down, and now it's going to be QO who's going to be silenced up. Unable to do the Song of Sirens, last second, 35 HP. Woo!
The raindrop saving lives again.
Yeah, that nuke from SC just not quite enough.
Damn, that's crazy. Like, you see how fast Newbee collapsed on that mid lane? They were like, this tower's important right now. We don't want to lose the tower at 8 minutes. Bring 5 heroes. Borev's not able to respond in time, obviously, because he's maxing the bottom lane. He can't really TP to his tower and try to get involved in that type of way.
Yeah. And that's a large part. Oh, swap back. Telekinesis though. Velo put back to his place. He's going to be peppered away at some Frosters. And he'll be able to get that kill. Waveform forward. They get 1. Paralyzing cast. Bouncing around, but it's not going to be enough to save Duba. Looks like he gets bounced over to U9. He will actually be able to stay alive. KP is going to have to dive in deep for the Burrow Strike. And might be able to escape still. Burrow Strike onto the Witch Doctor is going to be able to kill him. Popping the Caustic Finale. Slowing the pursuit by MVP Phoenix. This creating space for SC and U9 to go back into right-clicking this tower as they're still trying to chase KP a bit. QO, he knows nothing really going to come of this 1v1, so he's just going to hop up to the top lane, get some farm there. Some space he's trying to create for himself. Bottom lane, SC, whoa, trying to go for Farev here. Farev has dropped a bit low by the waveform, but very clearly neither one of these can latch a kill onto the other. 1-7 right now to the favor of Newbee. But MVP Phoenix do manage to keep their tier 1 tower alive, even if they are behind in both network and experience after that mid lane engagement around the Dire middle tower.
Newbee is just, their rotations are perfect right now, honestly. Like, they're doing it again now, they're making smoke, they're going toward this bottom lane. They're just following SCC wherever he goes. Does he get the back?
Oh, get him! Oh, SC. Not quite fast enough to not expect, as you said, that hero snuck away inside the trees. Really good read, though. That in part is thanks to this ward right here. But is MVP Venus going to react fast enough? Newbee's going to be able to wrap around here on the mid lane tower. They've kind of got set up a Juba on the side here, but it looks like they're just giving Febby up.
Oh, and
they're
Velo
saying
can
nope.
grab too. Kaka, is he going to go get the lift? Duba with the cask.
Yeah, it's okay.
That decision making.
That for me, I mean, they very clearly knew about that smoke into their jungle. Did they just assume that Newbee was going to go for the bottom lane tower?
I think that was probably, yeah, the big assumption. You know, they're trying to make the move to the Morphling, but I mean, Newbee's just really on top of just making the first moves, and that's what they kind of have to do. You know, their versus a Naga lineup, it makes it a little bit easier. You're fighting 4v5 now. Or eventually goes for Vanguard on top instead of trying to rush that Blink Dagger out. So it's going to slow their potential to fight even longer. And now Newbee's going to. They almost got, okay, they're gonna get bottom tower as well, so they're getting the access to the Roshan, which they're able to do, obviously, with Bloodlust and Drow Ranger, and it's pretty hard for MVP to really fight into that with a Naga Siren. Of course, they have Tombstone, the combo, you know, the Tombstone sleep, but you don't really want to get your Naga involved still at this point.
I feel like in some ways, you feel free to disagree with me here, but I feel like in some ways that's MVP Phoenix being slightly behind the meta. I feel like Wings is the ones who have shown that smoke rotation, right? They don't go for the objective, right?
Yeah.
They'll always go for the kills.
They go for the kills,
right? And that is exactly what Newbee did there. They had a choice between taking an objective, tier 1 bottom lane with that smoke after they failed to get the axe kill, or try and wrap on mid and get the kill. And Wings very clearly set the meta where they said, we're always going to try and go for the kills, right? We're not necessarily going to try and take your objectives and get that aggressive vision down or like just be able to get the creeps pushing forward and the vision we gain from that, right? We're going to go for kills and make you feel constantly like you're under assault. And that for me is why I think, MVP Phoenix may be one step behind where people are thinking right now about the game.
I completely, oh man. SCC.
I
Walked up into the
totally
darkness
missed
by
that.
himself. Yeah, I mean, he grabbed an invis rune and just walked into the enemy jungle, and MVP was there with 4
Wow.
heroes.
Alright. Yeah, I just kind of figured, Morphling all good by himself. Especially with an invis rune, apparently not. Newbee, though, are going to 4-man smoke straight into the jungle, right where SC died, and try and catch some of these MVP Phoenix perhaps off guard, thinking that they just secured themselves a numbers advantage. There's no way Newbee would fight, but Newbee were definitely going to be fighting here. They're going to go in straight to the epicenter undeveloped. That's going to be a quick kill, even with the Soul Rip. It won't delay his death. Dubu is going to be able to TP out, but Febby might be the second kill here. We're going to have Tranquil Boots online in 5 seconds. Then he's going to have to get himself into the trees in a good position to be able to TP out. That's a smart one, but unfortunately, KT is a little bit faster than SC in this regard. Does manage to get the stun off in time, granting them 2 kills for that 4-man smoke rotation and a push onto that bottom tier 2 potentially.
Newbee's decision making just seems a couple steps ahead of MVP, to say the least. Like, they don't even care. They're like, okay, it doesn't matter. Morphling is not the fighter. We're making space for the Morphling. We don't need him to fight. We're making the 4-man rotation. We're putting the pressure, getting the kills. Into the enemy jungle. No vision. And now they put the vision down. So they did that. They just kind of like assume these guys are still going to be down here after the Morphling dies. Because they know Naga is just going to play on the mirror side. He's just going to be playing in the opposite jungle.
Right.
But QO's, he's doing pretty decent. He's still got his timing pretty set, even though they have only one tier 1 who's got denied as well, so.
Tier 2 will fall. 9 is able to pick that one up.
Playing dagger timing now.
Yeah.
The thing that's incredible is that KP is doing all this movement and all this action without the blink. Like, you don't see too many players. Like, you see, like, Wayne, a few minutes now, again, SBC.
Oh, look at it roll! Nice 3-man Burrow Strike. That is going to stop things immediately. They're going to be able to get a counter death. Well, that actually almost kills QO. Unfortunately, he's very tanky in physical damage. He'll be okay. Nice attempt there, Kaka. Febby is going to be the one caught out, though, as he tries to rotate over to help out his allies. He instead trapped upon by Newbee. They take their 11th kill of this game, where MVP Phoenix only sitting at a meager 2. They've got very good control of the map, and they're going to use it right here. They just killed the big team fighter support of MVP Phoenix, just like last time. They managed to take the mid tower after they killed Febby, right? They pushed in. This time around, after they kill Febby, they're going to be able to take Roshan, a big objective.
I mean, it's just good play by Newbee, really. Like, MVP's trying, but their heroes just they just can't really fight into the aggression by Newbee.
There's an 8 for 9. And now they can go ahead and go for more objectives. Nice epicenter set up, and that magic damage burst that we talked about, not quite enough. Unfortunately, maybe if KD was level 11 and he had that second level of epicenter, maybe if they just had a better, some sort of nuke that was stolen by Rubik or really any control.
Kako was short of both spells, so I think he was trying to decide which one would be the better play to do, and he ended up using either.
Whoa, Febby caught out here as the rotation comes across. They just took that tier 2 bottom lane. Maybe they expected a tier 3 tower push, but instead, Newbee wrap across into the mid lane tower once again, right? Kind of the same rotation, right?
Yeah,
from bottom into mid. Febby gets caught out, and this guy cannot afford to be caught out, right? This is their big team fighter. This is their big team fighting support that allows them to be able to match up against Newbee, despite having a disadvantage in numbers sometimes, where Naga Siren's trying to split push or something like that. Like, this guy and Axe, those are the 2 that allow you to be able to stop some of these pushes.
This is just, I mean, it's snowballing out of control. They do have a Naga, though, so it does take some, obviously, it takes time, but...
Yeah, shake it, Kaka. You shake that death ward. Paralyzing cast and a counter death ward from Dubu shows them how it's done. A support for a core, though. Remember that Vengeful Spirit is still ultimately a core. They're going to be able to get the Undying on the backside as once again Unai managed to come in. Looks for the Hurricane Pike, not able to claim anything more, though. So 2 for 1 exchange.
They're crushing with their pressure, their map control. Like, even now you see, like, SCC doesn't go for that straight Lincolns. He knows, like, the way that the map is working with him, he's going to be able to get this booster travel, just farm. This is just all he needs to do at this game. The rest of his team is doing everything for him. So yeah, going for the boost travel rather than going for that Lincoln is definitely the smart play for him here, because they have so much of the map opened up. They have this whole Radiant jungle able to be farmed out, and now they're soon going to be going for this top tower, and that's going to open up even more. It's going to limit MVP so much.
Even just back right? And don't give them time, right? Push down the creep wave and telegraph, hey, we're going for this push. They just like pop out, take the tier 1 tower nice and quick as they can. And MVP Phoenix, we have yet to see the impact of this Blink Dagger on Finem. haven't managed to cut out the Morphling, you know, set up some sort of big noob gank on him. Haven't managed to win a team fight against Newbee. He tries to catch KP, but blink for blink. They have all this aggressive vision all around this Ancients area. Secret shop, below the cliff, and even all the way up here is what's about to go down.
You know,
Becoming irrelevant soon anyway.
MVP's lineup is also just like, it's really hard for them to really do anything, to be honest. Like, what's their actual follow-up on an Axe call? He has to get a multiple hero call, and then what's the follow-up really? You know, there's a Tombstone thrown down, there's a Witch Doctor, but there's no AoE follow-up. They can maybe take out like one hero and just hope for the most possible spin-ins, but Newbee's backup is just so much more powerful. It's really just all in on this Naga, pretty much. It's Naga versus the world.
Tier 2 easily dropped. And Naga Siren isn't even that valuable because we haven't talked about the whole replicate versus a Naga Siren who's looking to split push. Well, once you have that Radiance, you're also just increasing the Morphling's farm. As he's going to be replicating those illusions and all the Radiance to work off of both his own.
Yeah, I mean, losing all these...
And see, literally half a second ahead, they're going to be able to get the call, and he starts morphing the strength, but they're just not going to be able to take him down fast enough.
Yeah, this is the point where the Morphling becomes...
Oh god, another 3-man Burrow strike into the epicenter. Goodbye, duo! You'll die because damage over time. Song of Siren not lasting long enough for any of his allies to escape, it looks like. Brett, he'll be going down here to the TP away for one, but that is... long.
It's like, we don't even get to the point right now where we're going to be able to see, like, they have no lockdown for Morphling either into the later stages. So the later this goes, it just becomes, like, impossible for MVP, I feel. Even though they have a Naga Siren, it's not a winning Naga Siren lineup.
Newbee gonna be able to push out all the lanes of knows he can. He's got the nuke. Not gonna be able to finish out the call. Not there in time. Bella may take out from the urn. Meanwhile, they've already taken out the Naga Siren. U9 managed to come forward. A really good paralyzing cast. Bevy's gonna be stopped up. There's so much Tombstone action. They're actually gonna be able to win this fight with some of the buybacks. Bevy's still not able to stay alive through the nukes of SC. He's just too big. Another buyback comes down. They're gonna be able to get the call onto Kanka, but SC is away. They're sacrificing some of their support, it seems like, as the Tombstone prevents their escape. But most importantly, SC did manage to get out despite all those buybacks from MVP.
Yeah, tons of buybacks from MVP. They end up losing their main cores. That Tombstone was actually so good.
Oh, I thought I heard 2 buybacks. Alright, that was just bad.
2?
I thought it was 2, but I don't know. I must have heard something crazy. That was just a buyback from Febby.
2 as well. Okay, so it was just a Febby buyback.
Okay.
And his damage was already dealt with that Tombstone that he placed, but yeah, like when your bench is he's pretty much acting as a support there. You know, he swapped his teammate out and then he just dies. Like he wasn't even able to do any single right click. So very hard to say, but it just doesn't seem like the bench pick is really working out for them in this point.
Yeah. Can you think of, because we needed an aggressive core, right? Can you think of one that would have been better than the Vengeful Spirit?
Not off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure there's definitely like a bunch of different factors. Because like their lineup is actually just so single. They don't really have the follow up for the Axe call. They really don't. It's just like they're really depending on this Tombstone getting up like it did there. You know, like 15 zombies on each people.
Right. Do you think a better controlling hero? Right. We wanted the Undying. What about the Witch Doctor?
I think the Undying and Witch Doctor could have worked. I think the Newbies, like the way they set up their lanes was like super smart, and they're able to fight. I don't know. Like Newbee just seems like such a stronger team, to be honest with you. I think it's not only up to the drafts here, but I think it's definitely it's hard for this bench in this game. It really is just super difficult for him.
They are taking away all the vision laid out by MVP Phoenix recently. They just had this one laning ward, very defensively postured. And so this mid ward, really that's only going to be able to see any pushes, but it's not really going to help them create space. It's not going to be able to find them any ganks or pickoffs. Shocker has a 4-staff. I mean, they have to play sort of a distance game in some ways. So this mobility item is definitely needed.
I mean, this is like I kind of said. This is the Naga versus the world, but Naga versus those heroes doesn't even match up too well in that him fighting them by himself. Like, and you can just see like MVP feels so pressured, completely locked in their base. Newbee, 3 wards, just trapping them there. They're able to see any movement that they try to do. And Kyo's trying his best. He's in the enemy jungle trying to do what is possible. He's got his boots travel picked up soon, but he just he's trying. He's trying his best to find farm where he can. There's not really a whole lot.
How did he get out here, by the way? Did he boots a travel to a lane that was pushing out? I'm just trying to...
I think he just walked. He doesn't have
walk past some of the
pick
woods.
Up the boots to travel. Yeah, I think he just got them up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think he just like walked up there and that's where his safest place is, the enemy jungle. That's when you know you're feeling a bit upset.
Yeah. You can't just sit in your lane and take whatever farm is pushed into you, right? You have to make more farm efficiency than just that, so... 4-man smoke out. MVP Phoenix desperately need to be able to get a big pig here and can transform that into some semblance of map control. They're going to be able to have their smoke pop here. They're going to go for the swap back onto base. KP is sitting on the side here. The call goes down. KP comes forward, does manage to get the burrow strike on a Perez, tries to run himself forward, and good silence out there from Velo. But Unai is actually kind of stuck here. He's going to have heroes right up in his face. There's going to be no physical damage coming out from him. And if Perez can get this chop onto base, then it'll be a big movement speed boost. But now here comes the Song of Siren. Everything starts slowing down. They're going to be able to catch multiple heroes here. Even if Unai managed to get away, the 2 supports are definitely done so. Ruby's going to be the first to go down. They will eventually be caught here. And the core is kind of sitting on the side still looking for an opportunity to make a go, but they realize with their supports down and a little bit of extra movement speed thanks to a Culling Blade onto an illusion will push forward. Still, Newbee. They got caught, yes, but that was a 4-man smoke and they only got 2 supports. I don't think that really transforms into anything big for MVP Phoenix, right?
It gives QO pretty much a full another item at least, because I think he got both the kills, which it's good. It's small steps. That's what they need to be doing now at this point. But it still gets to the point where how do you kill this Morphling? Like, if we get to that stage, how do you really bring down this Morphling? It's going to be insanely difficult with their lack of lockdown for him.
Brad going to be the target here for the epicenter. Oh, he plays away just in time. Oh, good timing there. I'm not sure if he just blinked because he saw Morphling coming forward, and maybe that's why he reacted, but either way, he gets ahead of the epicenter.
Like, Newbee, honestly, like, the way that they're playing, like you said, it just seems like they're like a little bit like more in time for the meta. Like, U9 as well, like, this play there, I don't know if we can, like, say it or anything, but instead of just, like, hurricane fighting himself and just running away when they're being chased there by Naga, he hurricane fights the Naga, so he was flat, and he was out of range to sleep. So that was actually a really big individual play that just, like, it was kind of hard to notice in the big fight that was kind of going on.
All right, Fog, we barely missed 28 kills by 25 minutes.
What?
And we went for the upwards of 26.
Oh well.
Oh well. Manta for the Dro Ranger. We almost have the, I mean, we were already seeing SC kind of pop his head out and try some nuke damage. We saw the Undying drop pretty low in the mid lane when SC tried that one, and he doesn't even have the Ethereal Blade yet. He's going to be picking it up soon, though.
Yeah, still just Kyo having to... He's trying to damage to find as much harm as possible, but not having these tier 1s taken out at all. Like, the mid-tier 1, like, really makes his access much worse. He's able to throw his illusions at least into the jungle there, but he's not able to really farm out the mid lane, not able to cut the bottom wave at all just because of this. Maybe they'll able to net this tower mid, but no, they're afraid. They don't even want to try it. Newbee, smoke. I think the ward from MVP actually caught that smoke, so they're probably going to group up inside of a high ground or hide in their base or just let QO farm for someone and just the rest of them will probably just hide.
Is this about the time? Because before you had MVP Phoenix hemmed in, you knew basically whenever they pushed out where the wards are going to be, most likely, unless they were super defensive, in which case you don't really care that much. They did their smoke. They managed to push out some. Is this the time you think about buying a gem just to re-control the map? Nope. Jumping in, it's just going to be real bad. It's going to lead into a silence eventually here. QO doesn't really stand a prayer here. If he had a Manta, maybe, just maybe, he'd be able to get rid of that silence and get the Song of Siren off, but he just doesn't have that item yet.
He felt safe. He did feel safe. Like, they knew the smoke was going on, but he was like, okay, they're not going to smoke here. They're going to smoke to like an objective. They're going to smoke to a lane, but going for the kill. They knew he's farming in the jungle. Like we said, that's the safest place for him to farm. Safest place for him to farm, and that's probably what Newbee's thinking as well. Like, he's in our jungle. I think that their better play is definitely buying a gem. They put it on QO, at least able to control the map, make sure that they're not getting all the
The call goes out. Ren is going to be the target here. Telekinesis, the Tombstone's behind him. They get really good heals out. The Tombstone will eventually die here. Unai focuses down pretty well. He keeps the rest of MVP Phoenix back too. QO bought back for all of this. And they don't actually get a fight that they can push forward and succeed. They didn't bring anybody low enough with that axe initiation.
Yeah. They really wanted to try. They wanted to get kills. Absolutely. And them not getting kills, that's actually super detrimental now. It slows down the Manta style a lot by QO. And yeah, Newbee now, complete access, complete control of the map. Bottom lane is kind of pushing in MVP's favor, but yeah, there's no way that they can get there, no way that they can benefit or capitalize on it.
In some ways, that buyback was necessary, right? Just because Draw Ranger lineups push so quickly, you need to try and get the jump on them before they push into the tower, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially because they have Aegis still, and he's level 16, so he's got that little bit of a power spike from his level 3 marksmanship.
Yeah. 2 minutes still on the clock for that Aegis. Newbee continue to push forward with confidence. Still don't have the Vincere blade, but they want to make use of this Aegis, and they could potentially end the game right now because QO does not have a buyback. They know that too. Telekinesis call. They do manage to grab Unai, but there's just no follow-up from MVP Phoenix. They're just trying to keep Red alive, but there's no threat on the Newbee side. They're all very high HP. NB comes forward. He's going to be targeted a little bit, but he bounced back by the Hurricane Pike. He's going to be the one blown up instead. He comes forward for Decay. All of the strength of the world won't stop him from going down. QO going to be targeted here for them. Instead of the silence going up, they swap him back, but again, it's MVP Phoenix just trying to keep some boards alive rather than getting these kills. Finally, the jump forward, and there's the first culling blade of the match. Perez managed to get a really good call out, but is only going to be able to kill one core, and he's still going to be pecked down by this Hurricane Pike U9 Draw Ranger. He keeps his distance and rips cores apart. Now it's only QO left alive, and Newbee will just end this game right here, right now. They're just going to move to the second lane of racks. There is only one buyback for MVP Phoenix. 20 seconds left for all the other heroes, so maybe they can buy back and defend their top lane of ranks, but Newbee are still going to be in an extraordinary situation here in this game number 2. Very unlikely.
Yeah, Naga versus the world, there's no way that you can do it in this type of game. Newbee, they realized what went wrong in the last fight too. Like the Tombstone went down, and they instantly, you can see all 5 of them switch to it automatically, not caring where was position.
There's a call. Oh, but Hurricane Pike over the cliff. They are going to be able to catch some of these heroes. Forev, 5 seconds. He may still be able to catch some people here with this call as the Song of Siren wears out. 1 more second. He needs to be able to get Unai, that's for sure. They're going to try and collapse on a hit. He still has that Aegis, though. Meanwhile, Velo in the background is being pummeled by SC as this carry Northland goes to work. Finally, they manage to bring down Unai, but that's just the Aegis. They're going to try and go for Kaka next. A mini Rubik as an Undying managed to steal that ultimate, but Bevy, the real Undying, he'll be the ones dying. Brett, he'll also be going down here. The Ethereal Blade finally up. SC makes short work of some of these cores. Ultra kill for him. He looks at the Rampage, but MVP Phoenix will deny. QO heads back to Kami. Will they surrender this game? The series taken by Newbee in a very clean 2-0.
Yeah, they, it almost seemed like the lanes were not so great for Newbee, but the rotations they made.